There's this old classic movie called Toy Story where there's a song in the beginning of the film that goes, "You've got a friend in me." This definitely applies to Kevin Hart right about now as it pertains to Nick Cannon, because Kevin Hart definitely has a friend in Nick Cannon. Now, before I go too far into the commentary, everyone knows that I did a premiere style video talking about how Kevin Hart stepped down from the Oscars yesterday. It was yesterday when I did the video. But then what I didn't know, but this was after the fact, or maybe before the fact, it turns out that Kevin Hart ended up apologizing anyway for tweets that he had already apologized from 9 years ago. I wish he hadn't had done that, because even though he apologized, I still don't think that the Oscars committee is going to allow him to come back to host the show, because he had already stepped down. And if you hear some noise in the background, that's just my air fryer. But it's pretty much a done deal. He should have stuck to his guns and not had apologized. That's just me personally, especially since he already apologized. But moving on from that, let's get into the core of the story. So we all know why he stepped down from being the host of the Oscars. It's because some old tweets got dug up when he was talking about his son. How if he came home and saw his son wearing a dress and this, that, and the third. And of course, mainstream media got a hold of it and put it out there literally a day or two after he was announced to host the Oscars. So Nick Cannon, actually, to be technically honest, the first person I actually saw with these tweets was Tariq Nasheed. Like, he was the first person I actually saw got a hold of these tweets, and I think Nick Cannon got them afterwards. But of course, with Nick having the bigger platform, his went a little bit more further. And of course, with Nick knowing Kevin Hart personally, it went further. So shout out to both of them in that aspect. But Nick got a hold of these tweets involving Sarah Silverman, Amy Schumer, and Chelsea Handler, in which they made similar tweets, or probably even worse tweets, than what Kevin Hart did. Now, this applies specifically for them in relation to Kevin, because Kevin Hart, like those three, those are in the lane of being comedians. The only difference is Kevin Hart's a black man, and these three women are white, and they're women. Now, I don't know what the dates were when they posted these tweets, but let's just hypothetically say they were more recent. Now, Kevin Hart's, his was almost 10 years ago. He already apologized for them. Let's say that Amy Schumer, Chelsea Handler, and Sarah Silverman's tweets were from more recent years, maybe like within the last 2, 3, maybe even 5 years. If that's the case, you mean to tell me you were able to leapfrog over their tweets and go right to Kevin Hart's tweets because he was hosting the Oscars? Now, how much you want to bet that if Sarah Silverman, Chelsea Handler, and Amy Schumer were hosting the Oscars, or hell, any awards show, would they go back and dig up their tweets? My guess is probably not. Let me read to you what these tweets said. Chelsea Handler said, "This is what a fag bird likes when he flexes." Then Sarah Silverman said, "I don't mean this in a hateful way, but the new Bachelorette is a fag." Then Amy Schumer says, "Enjoy Skyfall, fags. I'm about to get knee deep in Helen Hunt. Hashtag the sessions." All three of them used that word. Now, to my knowledge, I don't think Kevin Hart used that word. All he said was he talking about, like, he didn't, like, with the son wearing the dress, and I think he just said gay shit. He didn't use that word. The same word that people in that community say is considered to be a slur. He didn't say that, but they did. And not one time did anyone in that community or anybody in lamestream media call their ass to the carpet. But they went right to Kevin Hart and went out and got him. It makes you wonder what their end game is, or what their goal was when they decided to actually do that. But I think we all pretty much know it's because I think Hollywood is low-key getting tired of Kevin Hart. I really do. They probably feel he's overexposed, or he's been in too many things, and they didn't want to see him hosting the Oscars. Well, you know what? The Oscars ratings, like I said, have been dwindling over years. This probably could have been their opportunity to bring their ratings back up. But now it's done. I don't know who they're going to get to replace him, but yeah, I don't think those who are real fans of the show and everything like that, or fans of Kevin Hart, probably aren't taking this too well. But I don't really think this is going to completely hinder his career, because he's too far out there in order for them to stall his career now. But I mean, we shall see in the future. And like I said, Nick Cannon is a real one. This is the same guy that stepped down from being the host of America's Got Talent because he didn't agree with some of the stuff that they was getting ready to do. So he decided to leave the show before he had the opportunity to get fired. And this man is still working. Remember, he has some stock claim or maybe some kind of co-ownership with Nickelodeon. So it's not like Nick Cannon is destitute and hurting for money. He still is the creator and pretty much overseer of the show Wild 'N Out. And I think he's got a new hosting gig for a new television show that's coming out in January. So Nick Cannon stays with a gig. He's far from being broke. So for all them trolls that say, oh, Nick Cannon is broke and Nick Cannon is this, he's not broke. People think that he was broke because when he was with Mariah Carey, that he was flat broke. Sure, she had more money, way more money, but he had his money too. It's not like he was marrying her because he needed the funds. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this. It's the clear double standard. We already know what the real deal is. And, you know, it's the world going to keep on spinning. They're going to keep on doing fuckery. But I'm glad he called it out, because many more people should call it out. Despite on how you feel about Kevin Hart as a person, when there's a double standard and it's a clear-cut double standard there, especially with how everything is in this climate, you have to call it out. So I can understand why Nick Cannon did it. At this point, he probably felt like he has nothing to lose. Like, and to be honest, Nick Cannon been calling out a lot of shit lately, and a lot of people probably wonder why he still even has a career. But you know what? Hopefully he has good protection, because I won't be surprised if they try to come for him next. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I will talk to you in the next one.